Hi, everybody. Welcome to Happy Hour here on Brew Sports. We hope your Tuesday is going well. We are excited to have you along for the ride as we conclude our programming for the day here on a Tuesday. We welcome you inside the studio. I'm Baxter Colburn, joined alongside by the lovely Tika Griesbach. Tika, happy Tuesday. How are we doing today?
Great.
Good to see you. You've recovered from the Bachelor chaos last night.
Yeah.
The drama, of course.
So much drama.
But I mean, when the women tell all, sometimes nobody really knows what's going to come out, I feel like.
Yeah, I turned it off after a while.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
Just like, you know what?
Much
I felt so bad
for
for Chris Harrison, too. Baby, they're just shouting all over the place. And Chris
he
is like,
can't even get a word.
Ladies, like, it's my show, ladies. Like, stop talking. I was waiting for him just to snap. Be like, everybody, shut up. And just listen to me. But we'll talk about The Bachelor actually a little bit later on, just because I'm always curious to get your thoughts, to hear how everything shook down, and your predictions for the final two as well. We're going to be joined a little bit here by Dom Garrett as well, too, to talk about college basketball and the excitement that is swarming around with the conference tournaments, of course, taking place right now, and other excitement as well, too. So he'll be joining us via video in just a little bit. We do want to remind you all, of course, as well, that you can get us right here on Happy Hour Monday through Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. Central Time, live on Brew Sports Facebook. If you ever miss a show, you can get it on our website, brewsportsnet.com. You can also find it on YouTube as well, too. Just search Brew Sports, and you can find all the latest and greatest shows there for people to see. If you want to interact with the broadcast, of course, commenting below, you can also comment. You can also send us tweets as well. I am at Baxter Colburn. What's your Twitter, Tika? I don't remember.
At Teeks_7.
Teeks. How do you spell Teeks? Is there like a Q or anything weird in there?
No. Teaks.
Teaks.
Yeah, it's back from like middle school. I've never changed it.
Like, what up, Teeks? Like, you had a Twitter in middle school?
Or whenever I first made it. Yeah, I think it was like 8th grade.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't really use it as.
I guess I'm older than you by a couple of years, so I guess that makes me feel even older than that. You're like, back when I was in middle school. I'm like, back when I was in college. It's not that big of a gap, but still. But holy cow. Well, yes, Teeks_7 at Baxter Colburn at BrewSportsNet as well too, or hashtag BrewSports as well too. All that great stuff there for you. All right, Tika. I'm not going to call you Teeks. I almost did. Be like, all right, Teeks.
You can call me Teeks.
Teeks. All right, Teeks. What's on tap today for us in our opening segment here? Some funny things, some sad things, some yummy things. All depends really on how you look at it. But what do we got on tap today so far to kick off the show today?
Well, first we're going to talk about Tom Brady.
Ooh, I like Tom Brady. I'll talk about Tom Brady.
Good. You've seen his name on workout equipment, cookbooks.
He's got his own brand.
Nuts. Yeah. So now it's going to be a prepared meal subscription.
Really? Kind of like a monthly like clothing subscription or a wine subscription. You can.
Yeah.
So what is he doing though? He's sending people can get like what little packages of food or whatever.
I guess the company's called Purple Carrot, I believe.
Purple Carrot.
Yep. So it's a plant-based meal, which is different.
Interesting.
But it kind of goes hand in hand with his diet. Doesn't he have a pretty strict diet?
Well, he does, yeah. I mean, NFL players usually, or professional athletes as a whole, usually have just insane diets that they have to stick to stay in shape, really. So this is interesting. Purple Carrot, that's kind of an odd name, honestly. I usually try to avoid purple carrots.
Yeah,
it's
a very interesting
Doesn't that mean that they're not good? Or,
I've never seen a purple carrot.
I mean, and the packaging is white and red, too. So purple has nothing to do with anything. It's just one of those cute, unique names, basically like, oh, Purple Carrot. It's like, oh, you think of it. It's like, oh, Brew Sports. Well, obviously it's something cool. Like, you think of it and it translates mentally, the way it's supposed to, basically.
Yeah. But I guess, as, many people would probably guess, a lot of women subscribe to this plant-based meal
of course.
Diet.
People are vegan. People are trying to eat healthy. I get it, yeah.
But they think that, having Tom Brady along with it, maybe that'll get more men to subscribe.
Do you think that's realistic, though? Do you think how many men are going to want to eat plant-based meals?
Right. I mean, yeah, I don't know how
there's no meat.
Well that's going to
men like the meat.
Yeah.
Like give me the chicken, the beef, the bacon,
for sure.
All of that. I'm not that saying women don't like that either, but that's so non-traditional of men, I feel like, to be like, yes, Tom Brady. Most people, I feel like, almost laugh at Tom Brady even more. I mean, you saw that he did those commercials for UGG and everything, the promotionals for UGG boots, and people are like, he wears UGG boots, now he just eats plants. Like, people are like, how has this guy won 5 Super Bowls? I don't understand. This is the most girly man I've ever met, basically.
Yeah. I mean, I hadn't heard of it until I saw, that Tom Brady had, started working with the company.
Yeah.
But so I feel like he'll definitely bring more people in. I don't know if it'll
so.
increase men, though, the chance of men.
The price is what worries me, and I don't know how you would feel about this. $78 a week, you get 6 meals, which is a $10 premium over the company's regular meal plan. How do you... I don't know if I'd spend $78
I don't think I could. I definitely couldn't right now as a college student.
Right.
I mean, it's something I'd be interested in, but that's a lot.
Worker, though.
That's a lot of money just for, 6 meals?
For 6 plant-based meals, so that's your lunch and your dinner, I'm assuming.
Right.
Is what that really boils down to.
Yeah, I think that's a little too much money for that for me, but...
Maybe we're not the demographic, though, that he's trying to appeal to. I don't necessarily know if he's trying to do that. I'm not sure. I feel like that's certain people obviously can jump on certain things as they want to, but I feel like with Tom Brady's name attached to it as well too, so many people are going to be like, "Wow, I'm sure he probably cheated with the way he got these greens in here."
Yeah.
It's not really actually plants, and it's not actually good for you.
Yeah.
I'm sure people just read into things way too much.
Well, I guess their phrase, Purple Carrot's phrase, is "eat like a goat."
Eat like a goat.
Yeah.
How does one eat
like a goat?
So it's
referencing a goat's plant-based diet. And the acronym, greatest of all time, GOAT.
Of course. See, that makes more sense. And now that you say that, my brain was slow to catch up to you. And then as soon as you said that, I was like, because Tom Brady is called the GOAT, of course, the greatest of all time at the quarterback position. But I don't know if I'd want to walk around with a slogan on it. Like if you got a T-shirt and someone gave you a T-shirt that said "Eat like a goat," you'd be like, "Excuse me?"
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
I pictured goats in Door County, where I grew up with a lot, eating on the grass.
Oh, on the
roofs.
roof.
Yes, that's what I think of eating like a goat. Just like fat, furry animals walking around eating wherever they want.
Yeah,
that doesn't sound like a workout program I want to be involved in. You're like, eat like a goat. Be like, I'd rather not. But when you actually look at it, though, and say, okay, eat like a goat in the sense of eating like a champion, eat the plants.
Yeah, makes more sense.
Makes more sense, I guess. Yeah. I understand that. So I don't think I'm going to subscribe to it. You don't think you're going to probably subscribe to it. I don't know if any of you think they're going to do that as well, too. Greg on Facebook asks if it's just Packer fans that think of Tom Brady and the Patriots as cheaters. I actually don't think Tom Brady's a cheater. Fun fact. And I don't even know if it's the Packer fans that think he's cheaters as well, too. I think it's more so teams that have to deal with Brady on a consistent basis. The Jets, the Bills, even the Dolphins as well, too, that have been victims of the scandals. And the whole BS about Deflategate, I think, is just stupid, honestly. I mean, air pressure in football is the temperature. The fact that millions of dollars were spent to just try to determine whether or not, the PSI was calibrated properly is just ludicrous, in my opinion. I think you could have done so much more with that money. In general, I mean, I know, of course, everybody freaks out and like, that money could have gone to charity. It could have gone to the, orphans. Well, yeah, of course, obviously, anything like that. But we could have spent our money on so much better than that than trying to convict somebody of whether or not footballs had the proper air pressure in them, I think.
Yeah.
But
I completely agree. I do.
So, personally, I don't think that Tom Brady's a cheater. Just going to put that on the record. I don't know if you think Tom Brady's a cheater, Tika, based off of the things he's done. I mean, he's a really nice guy. Everybody's human. Everybody makes mistakes. Right. But to accuse somebody of cheating at that level, I think, is a bit ridiculous, personally.
Yeah, I do, too. I think it's kind of one of those things that's just blown out of proportion.
I agree. No, I completely agree with you on that one. All right, what's the other thing that we want to talk about briefly about what's on tap before we get to Dom Garrett here in just a brief moment?
Andrew Bogut and his fractured tibia.
Oh, poor guy.
Great player, but tends to get hurt a lot.
But crap luck, unfortunately.
Yeah.
He lasted 58 seconds.
Yeah, it's not very
58
long.
seconds. The Cavaliers, of course, trying to make that playoff push in the Eastern Conference, trying to continue to be that number 1 seed, which is, of course, very helpful for playoff time. Mm-hmm. They signed Andrew Bogut as a free agent. His first game ever on the court for the Cavaliers. 58 seconds in, boom, fractured tibia. Tibia? Not fibia. Tibia. I don't know if the fibia is actually a thing. I might just be making up words now. Tibia. Fractured tibia, done, gone, boom. He's out for the year. Not like he'll be back in a week or two. He's done. Yeah. He's not coming back. And you feel for the guy. You feel for the Cavaliers as a whole. I mean, you want your guys to stay healthy, of course, but you feel even worse for Andrew Bogut, who was excited, the new opportunity to probably go win a championship as well, too. Cleveland is such a high-caliber team.
Right.
And then just like that, poof, Gone.
Didn't even get a minute.
Maybe next time, Andrew. I feel bad. Thankfully, I've never fractured my tibia, so I don't know what that entails, what that feels like. Thankfully, but
yeah,
you just
I can't imagine. I think I've only broke my pinky toe. I think that's the only
really
major. Yeah.
I've broken my left arm.
Oh really?
Yeah, broke my left arm, broke my wrist, and
broke
my right foot.
How'd you? Doing what? I guess you're a soccer player.
Yeah,
right?
I broke my right wrist and my right foot playing soccer. I went for and then I broke my left arm when I was a kid. Classic Baxter, chasing girls on the playground, trying to play tag. Okay, I was playing tag. I was I was trying to tag these people, and I was
the girls
running up.
I know.
Girls. Hashtag Classic Baxter. Running up this ramp at this park. I don't know if you remember Pamperin Park in Green Bay or not. Yeah, Pamperin Park
familiar.
when it first opened. Running up a little bridge basically, and I tripped and fell. And of course, your natural reaction as you fall is to put your arms out. I fell, put my arm out, hit the side, and my arm broke in the shape of a Z.
Wow.
You want to know what even was worse?
What?
My mom didn't believe me. I'm laying on the ground.
Was she there?
She was. She was at the park in a separate place.
Okay.
I was there with some family friends, and I'm laying on the ground. The most surreal thing, it was almost out of a movie where all these kids, because I was screaming, and all these kids are up in the playground, looking down at me. They're just what's wrong with him? His arm shouldn't be doing that, kind of a thing. And
I think he's hurt.
I know, exactly. My friend came up to me. I was like, go get my mom. And he ran and came back. She's like, she doesn't believe me.
Oh
what do you mean she doesn't believe you? I'm I'm screaming on the ground because my arm was broken in 3 places. And then finally she came. She's like, oh my gosh, what's wrong? I'm like,
you didn't believe me.
My arm is broken.
How dare you?
How do you not believe me?
Were you mad at her?
I was in a lot of pain at the time. We use it as a joke every once in a while. I'm just like, come on, Mom. Really? You're not going to believe me? Like that one time you didn't believe me that I broke my arm? I'm like, good Lord. So I was a little upset about that personally, but I've moved on.
Well, that's good.
I'm a better person.
Glad to hear.
I'm going to take a drink really fast. I think we need to get to our guest. Don't you think so, Tika?
Yes, I think it's about that time.
All right, it is about that time. We are going to bring in one of our correspondents. He covers many sports. I was going to label him with a single sport and then decided that he is a man of many sports, so I feel like labeling him as a one-sport correspondent, it would be a disservice to him as a whole. So it is Dom Garrett. He joins us now on Happy Hour. Dom, welcome, sir, and how are we doing today?
Doing absolutely fantastic. It's a balmy, rainy day in Seattle, but it's March. But it's March, and college basketball is going on, and I get to talk about sports in the middle of the day and drink a beer with you guys. So,
hey,
all in all, it's pretty good.
What are you drinking? I'm curious. Tika and I both have our drinks of choice with us here. What do you got going on with you?
What I've got going on, I have a Sea Pine. Here, it's a great IPA local up here in Seattle. So I'm at the co-working space, and there just happens to be a tap of it all the time. So, cheers to you guys.
Yeah, cheers to you as well too. A friendly friendly little cheers here as well too. I've got a cider, and you've got something
Spotted Cow,
a classic Wisconsin drink here.
Thanks to my boyfriend for leaving it in my fridge.
Perfect. Yes, thank you, Tika's boyfriend, for providing.
It's been a while since I've been in Wisconsin, but I need to get back to get some more
Hurry up, Dom. Come on back. We'd love to have you back on. I mean, and we could talk about alcohol all day with you, Dom, but of course we should probably talk about college basketball at least a little bit.
Maybe a little.
If we have to. So let's. Are you getting excited? I mean, Selection Sunday, of course, is Sunday. Are you feeling the madness already, even though the big tournaments haven't fully started yet?
Oh, 100%. I feel like I get out of bed on March 1st. I just wake up and I just have this sense like it's time. And, the Northwestern over Michigan buzzer beater, that seems like forever ago. But that's the one that really kicked it off. Last night I was watching Siena versus Iona, who went into overtime. All these mid-major tournaments that are going on right now, getting really excited into the big boys that are going to be going on this weekend and Selection Sunday. It's arguably the best time of the year when it comes to sports.
You're absolutely right about that. This is a very exciting time. I mean, I personally enjoy college basketball. I'm not as obsessed with it as maybe you or others are, but I mean, it still is just a very memorable time of year, honestly. You know?
Definitely. So with Selection Sunday around the corner, do you have your favorite team or an idea of the Final Four you have picked out?
Yeah, so I will say one of the sites I actually write for, I co-manage, is The Only Colors. So we're a Michigan State blog for SB Nation. So I am I'm a big Spartan. Tom Izzo, as far as I'm concerned, he's Mr. March. But
of course, he really is.
Michigan State, yeah. But Michigan State hasn't been. We dropped our last 2 games, lost at Illinois, lost at Maryland, the buzzer beater to Melo Trimble. Going into Big Ten tournament play, I really do feel like Michigan State has to win their game on Thursday to solidify themselves even in being in the tournament. Because, the way that things have sort of been going with some of these mid-majors and some of these other conferences, Michigan State, I feel like there's pretty much 24 teams right now that are fighting for like the last 14 spots.
Yeah.
To just be able to get into the tournament. I think Michigan State is one of those. If they win on Thursday over either Nebraska or Penn State, I feel like they're in. But they're probably going to be sitting at about a 10 seed. As far as teams go that I think are going to end up moving forward and really making some noise, I'm really interested tonight. Gonzaga is playing. They're facing off against St. Mary's, the number 19 team in the country in the WCC championship. So, Gonzaga was undefeated. They dropped a game against BYU at home. Actually, the 3rd time in the last 3 years BYU beat Gonzaga at home.
They got their number.
They certainly do. Those Mormons. But yeah, Gonzaga has one of those sneaky teams that nobody pays attention to because they play in a small college on the West Coast. So, you don't get that Syracuse, Duke, UNC sort of feel. But Gonzaga has, ever since Adam Morrison and that unfortunate mustache that he has, it's they've been hanging around there. I think that they have a team this year that if they're hot, they can definitely make it all the way to the Final Four. But, it really depends on their region and their seeding. I do think that if they win tonight, they will be a number 1 seed come Selection Sunday, which is, always a great thing to have. You end up with the friendly region when it comes to, the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8 and everything like that. One team that I think that it's theirs to lose this year is going to be North Carolina. I think that North Carolina is the most complete team. I think that they can play inside, they can play outside. A lot of people are thinking about like Kansas and Frank Mason. He's averaging a double-double every single game, probably going to win the Wooden Award. But Kansas really isn't able to do anything on the inside. But I definitely think that UNC has the ability to go inside out and be able to hit that 3. They're not as reliant on the 3 as some of the other teams, but they are the ones that, in my head, are probably going to end up winning the entire thing.
Yeah, and I mean, certainly that's everybody has their picks going for it. I mean, UNC, of course, is always a fairly safe bet. I mean, and in years past, Duke was a safe bet as well too. But we know sometimes Duke likes to be kind and bow out early and give somebody that upset victory as well too. We've got a really unique situation going on here in Wisconsin, Dom. University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. If they win tonight in the Horizon League, they will be.
So crazy.
They don't even have 10 wins, and they would get a bid to the NCAA tournament. I made the argument this morning on the morning show, or on the lunchtime show rather, that I feel like that is almost diluting the overall experience of what March Madness is. I feel like that almost hurts the conference, not even the conference, the national championship run, basically, because you've got a team here that can't even win 10 games in their own conference, let alone how are they going to fare against a Gonzaga, UNC? They're probably going to get boat raced and basically waste their time, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, it might be unfortunate for the overall picture, right, if you look at all of the different teams. But if you look at it for that squad, right, so I was watching Siena versus Iona last night, and the only chance that these teams have to get in, even if they, run the table, the odds of them being able to get in to the tournament are very, very small.
Can you imagine if they just run it and go straight to the Final Four and everyone's just losing their minds? Like, they don't even have 10 wins. How is this possible?
It's insane. It's crazy. But, I mean, and I think that if they end up getting in, if they win, then they are the lowest percentage to ever end up in the tournament.
True.
You will see a team get absolutely annihilated. Like, it won't even be close. But it is one of those, for that team, for that school, for that fan base, it's the thing that everybody's going to be able to point to. It's the thing that the fact that they were even dancing, that's what's really cool.
And who doesn't love to dance?
I'm sure they're going to end up. He loves to dance. That's what's back. Everybody's going to talk about dancing now. Everybody's talking about Cinderella.
Dancing and Cinderella go hand in hand. I feel like
that's what I'm talking about, right?
I'm surprised Disney doesn't sponsor March Madness with all the storylines and the heartbreak and the warmth that also takes place. Honestly.
But Disney has all the wonderful heartwarming tales from The Bachelor through ABC. So
exactly.
They have enough love around this time of year.
Exactly. You're absolutely right about that one.
Well, Kentucky's having another successful year right now. They're projected as the number 1 seed. How do you think they'll do overall?
See, I like Kentucky. I think that Malik Monk is one of the most talented. Malik Monk and Fox, they are some of the most talented players, and they're names that we're definitely going to hear much further past college.
Right.
But there have been 2 times this year that Tennessee was down in the first half and then ended up coming back. Most recently against Vanderbilt, they were down by 19 points in the first half. You can do that against Vanderbilt. You're not going to be able to do that against a 3 or a 4 or a 5 seed in March. So they just haven't shown me the consistency for me to be able to say, yes, they're going to be able to. They're deserving of a number 1 seed, 100%. Their record shows it. They steamroll the the SEC like normal. It's Kentucky and everybody else in that conference. But when it really comes to it, I just don't feel like they're a complete team. And if anything, it really shows who the complete teams are. Duke 2 years ago, that was a complete team. Yes. Villanova last year, complete team, could shoot great from 3, but if that went away like it did in the Elite 8 and in the Final 4 last year, like Villanova found a way to win. And I just don't see Kentucky being one of those teams.
Yeah. What teams do you think will win their conference in the ACC and in the Big Ten?
Those are 2 of the hot conferences right now, especially. Obviously, we're here in Wisconsin, so, of course, we're trying to cheer for Bucky, of course. But realistically, though, the most talked about conferences are usually who comes out of the ACC. And in years past, the Big Ten usually, but Ohio State's having a bad year. Purdue suddenly is doing really well, which is really puzzling to me. But maybe I just have been under a rock and haven't been paying attention to Purdue basketball even, the last year or 2.
Purdue basketball is 100% centering around Biggie, Caleb Swanigan. He was just named the Big Ten Player of the Year, unanimous, both coaches and media. If anybody didn't vote for Caleb Swanigan, they probably should have lost their right to vote or to coach. Purdue is one of those teams that they are going to be able to beat you inside. Purdue's a team that I would be able to say, like, if you put Purdue up against Kentucky or Purdue up against Kansas even, they're going to be able to dominate in the low post, especially with Haas, who I, called Herman Munster. He is just a giant, big, tall, white dude.
Yep.
But he's those 2 inside have the ability to really wreak havoc. Now, the Big Ten is one of those conferences, obviously being a Michigan State guy, I've watched everything go from top to bottom, all the different games. People say the Big Ten is weak. I don't think the Big Ten is weak. I just think that there isn't as much of a difference from 1 to Rutgers, because Rutgers is on the bottom. But there's not as much of a difference in there. Minnesota could play really well on any given night. There's a real that Richard Pitino won Big Ten Coach of the Year because that team is playing out of its gourd. They won almost 3 times the amount of games that they did last year, just this year. Melo Trimble and Maryland, they are a streaky team, but if they shoot well, they could win. But I really do think that it's Purdue's year. They ended up losing to Michigan State last year. This team is hungry. They really want to solidify themselves. So I think Purdue's going to win that. And when it comes to the ACC, I have to give the edge right now to North Carolina. I think that Duke is not completely consistent. I haven't seen the type of play from Grayson Allen that makes me think that he's going to be able to lead the team. Luke Kennard is an amazing talent. But those two have gotten into some foul trouble. It's what happened in the Syracuse game while they ended up losing. Like Grayson Allen was not playing the type of defense that he was going to normally play because he had 4 fouls for almost the last 3 minutes of the game. So did Luke Kennard. So that team, their bench isn't quite as deep, even though they have a lot of talent. I do think that's North Carolina's, but really no, any of those teams in there can really make a run. And the ACC, that basketball, it's just fun. It's what Dick Vitale, I'm pretty sure that what he dreams about every single night is just nothing but a loop of ACC basketball and diaper dandies. But it's a lot of fun. It's the best. Yeah, it's like I said, it's the best time of the year. Yeah. And I love that these conference tournaments are all rolling right into March Madness this year too.
Yes, yeah.
Because nobody really knows what it's going to be, and it feels like March Madness is a full 4 weeks instead of just like 2.5.
Yes, I think which makes it even better as well too. Well, Dom, we got to let you run, unfortunately, but where can people find the work that you do and also follow you on social media as well to stay up to date with all the latest sports news from yourself?
Definitely. So you can follow me. I am at Dom Garrett, 2 R's, 2 T's on Twitter. I also co-founded Riding the Pine, where we talk about sports and tacos and cartoon crushes. You can find that it's pretty awesome. We just launched last week, so I'm really fired up. Thank you. That is ridingthepine.co or ridingthepine_ on Twitter. And then also The Only Colors. TheOnlyColors.com and The Only Colors on Twitter.
Fantastic, Dom. Always a pleasure. Let's do it again sometime soon. All right, sir?
Sounds great. Have a good one, guys.
All right, thanks so much. There goes Dom Garrett. So he was chatting with us here live on Brew Sports and on Happy Hour as well, too. Great to hear from him. Great to get his insights into the sports world as well, too. Very knowledgeable, very forward, and very just direct with his comments as a whole, too. So I think that is always an exciting time, I feel like, when you have somebody just so direct, so smart on what's taking place. So, all right, Tika, we last week we talked about some of the best videos of the week, basically, and there are some interesting and elusive stories that are taking place right now. And I kind of wanted to turn it over to you as well, too, so you can give us an idea of what we're transitioning ourselves into here.
Yeah, definitely. So Kyrie Irving, if I were at all athletic and if I played basketball, I feel like I would focus on my dribble for sure. I mean, that's such a staple skill.
Makes sense.
That can help you become a great player, and clearly that shows. He became the best dribbler in the NBA.
He did. He certainly did. And we wanted to just showcase a little bit of his talent here on the program. So let's take a look at Kyrie Irving and his nasty dribbling. You look at something like that and you're just like, good Lord. Like, I mean, I've always considered myself to be fairly athletic, honestly, Tika, just to throw that out there. But I've never been exceptionally skilled with a basketball. I mean, I can shoot, fairly well, but I've never been like, hey, check me out. I have this, I've got the handles, as they say. I got the handles. I can go between my legs. I've never mastered the whole dribble between the legs thing, like while I'm actually moving. I can do it standing still, like, oh, cool. I'm really cool, but I can't do it while these guys are like flying down the court and being like, oh, back behind my back, between my legs, like around my back,
insane.
like, ooh,
I feel like the only time I've ever tried was in middle school in gym class.
Yeah,
gym class, maybe.
It's like the thing to do. Yeah.
Or like if there'd be times in the summer and I'd shoot some hoops or play horse.
Sure.
But yeah, definitely not my thing, and I couldn't. That's just so impressive to me.
Yeah, it really is, honestly. I mean, you talk about how important certain skills are in certain sports. I mean, in hockey, it's similar to basketball. Still, you need to be able to have the stick handles. Basically, you got to be able to move the puck at a very tight, close proximity to your body, but also be able to shift around so many different people at the same time. Basketball, same thing. You got to be able to dribble and then also get the pass off or take the shot quickly. Soccer, kind of the same thing as well too. You got to be able to progress the ball up the field and then be able to make moves as well too with the ball to get around a defender, make a long pass, take a shot. I mean, I have mucho respect for the maestros and of the game basically that make it look so incredibly simple, especially like a guy like Kyrie as well too. I mean, that's why Cleveland has had so much success this year, as well as his ability to drive the lane, to be able to make the incredible passes, and just the fact that he's so comfortable. It looks so natural. I mean, I'm sure for you, with doing all the dancing you did growing up, I mean, half the time you would learn really difficult moves, but you practice it enough, it becomes second nature.
Yeah,
so
that was one of the main things we try to do is, we learn difficult things, but once you get it down, you have to make it look like easy and as if it's, not hard at all.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, for those, watching, they're probably just like, holy cow, like, Tika, how'd you do that? Like, that was incredible. And you're just like, you're probably at that point like, what? Like,
I've practiced it so many times.
I've done it so many times, like it comes that second nature. And I think the best athletes, the best performers, singers, dancers, they will all tell you that. I mean, it just comes natural. It's just, it's amazing how stuff like that works. I mean, you have to be able to your brain goes to an entirely different place, I feel like. So mucho respect to anybody. I feel like they can do that in anything. So that was one of our first videos we wanted to show you for the week. We also have another one as well too, but this is kind of a cool story behind it as well too. We're not going to show you the full video, but Tika, you've got the dish on what we've got for this one.
It's called When I Play. It's a new short film from ESPN Women. It's actually Women's History Month. I think Women's History Day is tomorrow, March 8th.
Yes.
So, I think they kind of made this film for the month. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
All right, we'll show you just a little clip of it here as well too, because it's about 2.5 minutes long and we don't want to take up that much time, but we'll show you at least the first minute of it here. So so take a look.
To whom it may concern, what I'm doing here is not for you. Not for your judgment or your appraisal. Not for your assessment or your arousal. No boy I know has ever been told he shouldn't play, couldn't play. I am no longer interested in shouldn'ts or couldn'ts or rules not written for me. I am not worried about getting too big or too strong or too fast or too full of myself. I do not agree that playing like a man is a compliment. What I'm doing here is not for you. Movement is a movement. My effort, my ambition, my desire for me. For every woman, every girl who dares to see herself as something more than a body to be rated, a score to be kept. When I play, I keep my own score. When I play, I know who I am.
My gosh, I want to keep watching, honestly, but I don't want to completely take away from what we're doing on the show, of course. But unbelievable, honestly. I mean, I was getting fired up, and I'm the demographic of the video is not even directed at me specifically, but as a man watching this, I'm like,
that's
like,
pretty
go
empowering.
for it, girl.
Yeah.
Like, get it, kick some ass, like, woo, go you, kind of thing. But
I love how it's a combination of different sports. How they
it is,
many different sports.
I saw the dancing. I'm like, oh, Tika's in this. I was like, there we go. What do you make of something like this? I mean, I know as a female, you see something like this come out. Of course, you know that the sports world has always been all over the place with how females, are portrayed basically. But when you see this type of a thing, this campaign come out, what were your initial reactions when you saw this?
I thought it was inspiring. I think it, a message, they wanted to, empower women. I feel like that's kind of what I thought of when I first came across it. And I feel like they're kind of giving out the message, like, to don't give up and keep reaching for your dreams and setting goals through whatever you love. And that's why I like that they, it was a combination of different sports, not just one specific one.
I know, and I would agree with you on that one too. And I think I just got to make note of this as well too on Facebook. Greg, who's been watching and commenting excessively throughout the show, so thank you for that, by the way, Greg. He says, as a guy that's been blind from birth, I need to say that I really appreciate the video aspect of your show. The video looks pretty crystal clear to me, and I've just been really he's been able to continue to like and comment as well too. So I much appreciated, Greg. I appreciate your overall thought and your continuous battle as well too to overcome the adversities thrown in your way. But it's so interesting though. You look at this video, And I've worked very closely the last year and a half with women's professional soccer. One of the soccer show that I host on Wednesdays, Two Up Front, is we cover all things American soccer, but I've gotten a lot more respect for women's sports as a whole because of hearing what some of these ladies have to go through, from being looked down to not being paid enough to being told, hey, well, play like a guy and you'll go really far. And comments like that sometimes are crappy. You don't, as a woman, you don't want to be told, man up, play like a man. And you're like, why? Why do I want to?
Why do I have to play like a man?
Why can't I play like a
woman? Yeah.
Exactly. And I don't know if you've ever been victim to that at all, too. Throughout your career, if people have been like, oh, I'm just man up, Tika, or toughen up, or if you were more manly or whatever, you'd do better, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Have you been victim to that at all?
Maybe in a different kind of way. I'm deathly afraid of spiders and creepy crawly
well,
things.
I am too. So for that, when people tell me to man up, be like, I don't want to be a man. I'm terrified. I hate spiders.
I feel like that's what first comes to mind. I just cannot. I will not. I mean, I want them dead. Like, I don't want them crawling in my house. But if I see one, I can't kill it.
All spiders.
Like, people will say like, oh, don't, like, wouldn't you rather have it dead? I'm like, yeah, but I can't do it. Like, I
So if a little spider crawled on the table right now, you would just lose your mind and just be like, throw your beer and be like, I'm out. Yeah. You're like, no more. Find a new co-host.
Probably.
Interesting.
I don't know why.
It's a shame. We were going to name this network Spider Sports. We're going to have spiders hanging from the ceilings.
Sounds terrible to me.
I would be like, find somebody else. Find a different director. I'm not doing this, guys. No, thank you. I think major props, though, to ESPN for producing something like that. Go to their website as well. Check out the full 2.5-minute video as well. Just a really great message, I feel like. And I've had my wife is a health and fitness coach as well, too, and being able to hear the way that those ladies that I've been able to meet through her business as well, too, have inspire each other and build each other up is incredible, honestly. I mean, you were part of the Miss America organization as well, too, for a while. Same for myself as well, too, as a judge and just fellow follower of it. And you hear what these women, sometimes are victimized with, or you hear the negativity. And being able to say, rise up, rise above, show how strong you are. I have so much more respect than I already did. I mean, that's how my mother raised me, to respect women no matter what. And, I'm not perfect, and I've definitely been guilty of not showing women respect in the past. But at least over the last couple of years, I've found myself, building so much more respect for what women do in their professions, as a mother, as a wife, as a sibling, as everything that embodies women. I have just been so much more respectful of and just more appreciative of being like, I can't even imagine. Like, super
awesome.
proud, super props, totally, like, go for it, I just don't know really much else you can say about that. I mean, just like, I think it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I think the video is really cool, and I feel like you can never be inspired too much, like seeing a video like that every single day, waking up to seeing something like that. You can never get enough, You're
right. Greg comments as well on Facebook, says he's deathly afraid of dogs.
Really?
Yeah, it's like, if you can believe that. I'm not afraid. I'm afraid of big dogs, like really big dogs, because at that point, it's like you could eat me if you wanted to. Like little dogs, I'm just like, oh, you're cute.
They couldn't eat you. I've never seen a dog big enough.
Hey, you see, like
there are pretty big dogs,
but
not big enough to eat a human.
Well, they could, put a dent in you, if they really wanted to. I don't know. Eric also asked if we can talk about Packers free agency as well, too. Eric, we're happy to talk about Packers free agency. What specifically do you want to talk about? I mean, that's you gotta give us a direction. You can't just say, let's talk about Packers free agency. You gotta
so many different ways.
Exactly. Are we talking about players they should re-sign, players that are leaving, players that they should go out and grab? Adrian Peterson, 100%. Make it happen, Adrian Peterson. We know, Dom Capers and Ted Thompson. Ted Thompson's just never going to do it, unfortunately, but give us be a little bit more specific, Eric, and I'm happy to answer any questions or any thoughts that you've got related to that as well, too. While we wait for Eric's response in that regards, Tika, you have something else for us. That's,
speaking of strong women.
I was just about to say, we've been already on this, like pro-women, like kicking butt and taking names. You've got an even more impressive story now for us that I feel like we all need to just be like, yes, bow down, we are not worthy.
Yeah. Have you ever run a marathon?
Have I ever run a marathon? No, I haven't. I think the longest I've ever run on purpose, was a 5K.
Same.
I think. Yeah, I think so.
Same
I think that's about the longest I've ever run.
Well, Lisa,
how about yourself? You ever run a marathon?
No.
No?
5K.
I know a lot of people that have run marathons. More power to
I see it
them.
on Facebook a lot. You know, people
Just
say,
ran my first marathon. I'm like,
yeah, I know,
Lord.
and I'm like, good for you.
26.2 miles, I think. I think that's what how long a marathon is, or 24, 26.
Yeah, I struggle through 3, so
yeah,
that's enough for me. But 48-year-old Lisa Davis ran 7.
7. Okay. I mean, I know people run marathons all
But
the time.
she runs 7 marathons in 7 days on 7 different continents.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes. Isn't that just insane?
So
it was
7 marathons.
7 days.
In 7 days. Like, this was like a week, or was this like over
week.
like in a full week?
7
like,
days.
Started on a Monday, ended on a Sunday.
Yep. So it was called the 777 Quest, and she completed it in 7 days, 3 minutes, and 27 seconds.
My gosh.
She's a retired Marine, so as you can
go.
imagine, yep, very strong. But the whole thing costs $40,000. Wow. A lot of money. But I mean, that much traveling.
I mean, you can just
imagine.
see the world, but like, is it one of those things where you run it, and then you're like, all right, I'm out. Peace, Africa. I run it. Oop, all right, peace, Europe. Oop, peace.
Well, so she actually made a record time for a female. And it puts her in the Guinness Book of World Records.
Oh, well, congratulations to her.
So, yeah, pretty impressive. But she also, not only that, she's the first African-American woman to complete the 7-stage course.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess I'm just trying to think mentally, like, where you start. Like, where do you start? Like, because Antarctica is my question mark. I'm like...
Well, the loop started in Perth, Australia, which I thought was really cool because I was just in Australia.
Wow. Perth is amazing. I love Perth.
Have you been there?
I haven't, but I know I follow women's soccer in Australia, and Perth is one. I have friends.
Yeah, when I went, I was told that it's like the most amazing spot to watch sunsets.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
They have the most beautiful sunsets there.
Huh. Where did you go in Australia?
I went to Sydney. I didn't go there, but yeah, it was pretty far.
You sell out when going to Sydney. Sorry. Anyway, continue.
But yeah, so it started in Perth, Australia, continued on to Singapore in Asia, and then went to Africa. Amsterdam in Europe.
Then up to Amsterdam. Okay. Why would you? I feel like you would want to almost do the whole like Asia, Europe, and like boom, boom, instead of going down and then back up.
I don't know. That's just what it was. And then New York City. So back to North America.
Okay.
And then South America, Chile.
Sure.
And then it ended in.
You end in Antarctica.
Antarctica.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And that one alone had an $8,000 entry fee. Jeez. It was such a high caliber.
I feel like I would want to start with that one. Be like, get me out of the coldest run right off the bat, and then let me make up the rest of the time I might lose in warmer climates.
Right.
Or civilized climates.
You'd think. So she said she packed energy gel packs, tape, tank tops, hand warmers, ski masks, because obviously in Australia it's really warm, and then you go to Antarctica.
And it's just an entirely different thing, honestly, at that point. I mean... My gosh, our TV's resetting behind us. I just realized that. I'm like, why is it black behind me? I will
weird.
take care of that as we continue to talk here, apparently. But always ever changing on Brew Sports.
We'll get that fixed. All in all, she ran 183.4 plus miles in total. And she got lost in Africa, apparently. She took a little detour.
She got lost? Isn't there like a marked out
You'd
course?
You'd think. There must have been some, I don't know, some construction going on or something.
I feel like it's hard to get lost during a race. Like, hey, I'm going to go run.
You'd think, such a big race like that.
Yeah, because she wasn't the only person doing it, was she? There's multiple people doing this. Strange.
So there were 18 flights in 110 hours of airtime through the 7 days.
Jeepers. I can't even imagine, honestly.
And then, 42 hours, 46 minutes, and 9 seconds of running time. Wow. That, to me, is insane.
How long again?
42 hours, 46 minutes, and 9 seconds.
I have a hard enough time working 12-hour days, let alone trying to run for 42 hours.
Right. And through the 7 days, she only got 17 hours of shut-eye. She only slept for 17 hours.
Probably just slept on the plane.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Well, more power to you, Lisa Davis. Holy cow.
She says the Marine Corps prepared her well, which I can imagine.
I can. Yes. Holy cow.
Yeah, I don't think I could ever.
No, I don't think so either.
The previous best exceeded 10 days. So she
did
really
it in
beat
7
it.
Days. Like, she kicked its butt. Like, 10 days? Easy. I can do it in a week. Wow. Well, huge kudos to you, Lisa Davis. I can't even imagine, honestly, what that would even feel like.
I feel like even just like when I traveled to Australia to study there, the plane ride just took everything out of me.
What, 12, 15 hours?
14. I think on the way home I was traveling for like a total of, I had it like counted, but I think it was like 30 some hours.
That's insane. No, thank you.
Yeah, I was so tired after just traveling.
Yeah, exactly. You can't imagine being tired and then getting off the plane and then running then as well too. Like, oh sure, let's go run now.
She's probably freezing.
No, thank you.
Yeah,
no, thank you at all.
But she's clearly very goal oriented. I mean,
yes.
She's run, also, another fun fact, she's run in all 50 states.
Oh, wow. Okay.
She enlisted in the Marines when she was
a lot of
17. Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah. And then she earned a bachelor's and 2 master's degrees.
Dang, Lisa, go. We got to get Lisa on the show. Holy cow.
Very goal oriented. That's
seriously.
Insane.
Hashtag girl boss. I love it. You'll appreciate this. Greg on Facebook says that he thinks we need to consider dedicating a whole show per week to just positive, inspiring sports stories.
Oh,
I feel like we don't hear enough positivity in the world.
I agree.
I don't know if we could do a full show, but I think I like the idea of a segment or two a week just focused on positive stories. So good idea, Greg. I appreciate that.
I like that.
I do too. Eric says, going back to his Packers free agency talk, he says, any thoughts on Latavius Murray versus Eddie Lacy? I honestly wasn't aware that Latavius Murray was a free agent for the Raiders, so that knowing that he is a free agent versus Eddie Lacy, I honestly think anything is going to be better than Eddie Lacy. I think the Packers need to cut their ties and move along, honestly. I mean, there's better running backs available. Ty Montgomery doesn't deserve to be the starter next year, but I think that you need to get somebody else in. So Latavius Murray, Adrian Peterson, maybe Jamal Charles. I'm not a big Jamal Charles fan. I think anybody of those would be much better than what Eddie Lacy is doing right now. So Packers need a running game. I think we can both agree that was the reason that they ended up not doing so well come playoff time, is because Aaron Rodgers had to try to do everything that he could do, honestly, and then you didn't have a solid running game to fall back on. Ty Montgomery did decent. I don't want to take anything away from Ty. He did decent, but Green Bay could have really benefited from a consistent running game, and I don't think even if Lacy would have been healthy that he would have been able to provide that, because he's struggled a lot throughout his career so far to stay healthy and just even be a dominant force as well too when he's on the field. So my 2 cents about Eddie Lacy and Latavius Murray. Any other questions, feel free to comment below. Make sure you comment and share as well too. We've actually had a bunch of people share this episode as well too, so thank you guys for doing that. That certainly makes the outreach of what Brew Sports is doing, and our show, especially Happy Hour, even more noticeable to the wide world of sports as a whole. So we really appreciate that as well too. And remember as well, at Teeks_7, at Baxter Colburn on Twitter, hashtag Brew Sports, at Brew Sportsnet as well, on the Twitterverse and Instagram as well too. So go check those things out. What else do we have to talk about, Tika? I feel like we're coming to the end. I know we got only about 10 minutes left of the show here. The Los Angeles Raiders, not the Oakland Raiders, the Las Vegas. Vegas, baby. The Las Vegas Raiders finally found funding from Bank of America to finish their stadium, because if you hadn't heard, the new stadium's going to cost them $1.9 billion. Think about that for a moment. $1.9 billion, okay? So that's your price tag. They had an investor poll about a month or two ago that said, you know what, I'm going to actually take my $680 million investment and just not give it to you anymore.
That's such a crappy situation.
I just can't even imagine. Like, I have a hard enough time, putting together $100 to go to the grocery store and just being like, all right, but if my wife were to suddenly be like, you know what, I'm going to pull $80 of the $100 and now go buy the groceries for the week. Like, I mean, that's not the case. Obviously, we're completely fine. But like, that's, as an example, basically, someone to be like, all right, go buy $100 worth of groceries on $20. Good luck.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. That's a crappy situation to get tossed into, honestly. But the Raiders got the funding they needed. Bank of America was able to step up and help provide the rest of the money. I mean, who else to go to but a bank? Probably got a loan. Be like, yo, Bank of America. I don't know if the stadium is going to be called Bank of America Stadium now. I feel like if you get a massive donation like that or a backing from a bank, would make a lot of sense to me if that's that'd be the kind thing to do.
Right. I would assume that's what they would do. I hope.
I hope so.
So they're really helping them out a lot.
Yes, they really are. I completely agree with you on that one. It's a little strange, but at the same time, Las Vegas is such a strange thing. I've talked about this on the other shows with the other hosts. I don't know if you have an opinion about Las Vegas as a sports market as a whole. so many people make the argument that how can anything be sustainable in Las Vegas that doesn't have to do with gambling? But I've also heard the positive argument saying, well, it's an event, it's an entertainment. Cirque du Soleil, all those things, all these shows, those are events. Just like
I mean, when I
sports.
think of Vegas, I obviously right away think of gambling and like party.
Oh, 100%.
But I mean, I've traveled to Vegas before for many different events. I mean, Miss USA is held there, Miss America is held there. Usually, I mean, it can change from year to year, but
yes,
I've been there so many times to see those shows, and I mean, it's not only gambling, there's so many events that are held there as well. Yeah,
exactly. So thinking about, I mean, and the Las Vegas area cycles through people so fast. How can you sustain a professional sports team? They're already getting a hockey team next year. The Las Vegas Golden Knights, that's already official. I mean, of course, the Raiders now getting funding are also going to be making that jump as well too, but I have a hard time believing that there's going to be a consistent fan base. I mean, you look at Green Bay, they've had sellouts for decades, whatever they can put in their stadium now, 80,000 or 83,000, something like that. I mean, Seattle, New England, the Cowboys, these are historic franchises. And the Raiders were a very well-traveled, very well-supported, and still are, franchise, but to go to a city that really has nothing to do with sports?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question, because I know so many times I feel like people go there just like on vacation, or I know my brother.
For a weekend if I go to Vegas.
Right.
I'm not going for. I don't know. I mean, and maybe this is my ignorance. I don't know enough about the Vegas area to say, hey, I'm going to go to. I want to move to Vegas and work there, not on the Strip. I'm going to just wherever I'm going to work, and I'm also going to help support this professional sports team as well too. I mean. Are there a lot of families in the Las Vegas area?
I mean, honestly, every time I've been, I've only been on the Strip. I don't think I've ever been off.
How many suburbs are there of Las Vegas? Probably not. I mean, Nevada's a desert anyway. It's Las Vegas and it's Reno. What else is there in Vegas? Or what else is there in Nevada as a whole? Really? I mean, there's probably some mountains and some snakes and spiders, but
I know. Like I said, I feel like the only time I hear people going there basically to Las Vegas is to gamble, to have fun. I mean, I know my brother went there for a bachelor party once, and he said, I don't know how long they ended up going for, but he said it was almost too long, because all you do is party when you go there. Like, you stay up all day, all night. And so it gets tiring after a while. So people only want to go for a certain number of days. They don't want to go. I mean, a week is a long time to spend there.
Oh, I completely agree with you. And to think about that then, be like, if I go to Vegas, I'm not going to go to a hockey game.
Right.
I'm not going to go to a football game.
Right.
I'm going to do the casinos. I'm going to party, as you
go
say.
To the clubs.
I'm going to do all that. I'm going to see the sights, because, living here in the Midwest, like if I personally were to go, I can go watch hockey here in Milwaukee. I can go to Chicago and watch hockey. If I want to see pro hockey, I can go to Green Bay and see the Packers play.
Right. It's not one of those top things you're going to want to do.
I wouldn't go to a Raiders game. If they were playing the Packers, maybe I'd be like, okay, well, sure, I'll go to a Raiders-Packers game if the schedule lines up. But I'm never going to go to Vegas with the intent of saying, oh, I've got to see a sports game.
Right.
Never once in my thought. I'm going to go see Cirque du Soleil live. I'm going to go see the magic shows. I'm going to go, maybe try my hand at some blackjack, like all of that stuff. Sports is never going to enter my mind going to Vegas. I don't think this is going to last. I don't think that the Raiders or the Golden Knights are going to be successful, honestly. I'd be shocked in 10 years if both of these franchises are still there.
Yeah. I mean, I hope they are, but I know that I agree. I think it's going to be difficult.
I do.
Most people aren't going to want to go for that.
Yeah, I really, truly think that you're hurting yourself as you're for the NFL and if you're the NHL as well, too. I mean, you can do so much better. There's so many more cities out there that are desperate for either an expansion franchise and or just a relocation franchise as a whole, too. Don't put it in Vegas. And maybe we'll be wrong. Maybe they will self-sustain. Maybe they will wow the world, and we'll all be just sitting here. I'll be eating my words in a year or 10 years, and we're still doing Brew Sports. It'd be like, hey, what do you know?
For their sake, I hope that's the case, but I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that one. All right, as we close up, you mentioned your brother going to a bachelor party. Now, obviously, he is not the bachelor. Your brother is not Nick.
No.
Wouldn't that be funny though? I'd always be curious. Be like, so.
If you're close with someone that
yeah, exactly. So The Bachelor was last night. 3-hour, not season finale, but the 3-hour extravaganza. It was 1 hour show, 2 hours women tell all, which was lame. Because we talked about this yesterday, and people are probably like, why are you talking about The Bachelor? Why do I care? Well, we talked about it yesterday, okay?
And it happened last night.
Exactly. We made some predictions. We got to talk about it. I watched The Bachelor way more than I would like to admit that I do. I'm pretty positive I watched longer than you did last night.
Yep, I think you did.
'Cause we compared stories this morning, and you're like, nope, didn't see that. I'm like, oh, awkward. I did. I saw
I
that.
gave up.
I watched.
I started watching before you did, I think, though.
You did, yes. I didn't
So-
see the actual show. I didn't see.
That's what I was
I
most
didn't see the
interested in.
Vanessa and the Rachel dates. Didn't see any of that. I saw like snippets because I was in and out of meetings basically. My wife was watching. But what your thoughts though? What do you make of the dates? What do you make of Rachel going home? What do you make of the women tell all, the little bit that you did see?
I'm glad Rachel went home, mainly because we already know she's going to be the Bachelorette.
If we didn't know that she was the Bachelorette, would you have been more surprised?
I feel like I would have just been like sitting there. I have no idea who he's going to pick. You know what I mean? Like, because I feel like all three of them had really strong connections. So I feel
True.
like I would have just been like, I don't know, like it could go this way, it could go that way.
That's the thing. Yeah,
So,
it's like where is it going to go?
Yeah, I don't know if I really would have had someone picked out that I really, disliked. But I mean, knowing that she's going to be the Bachelorette, I was hoping it was her. Because
Yes.
if she did continue on, then I would have been like, okay, well then he doesn't pick someone. Otherwise, it's way too obvious. So I'm glad that it's Raven and Vanessa now. I really like both of them. I'm going to pick Vanessa.
Really? I
Yes.
felt like her date didn't go as well as people were hoping it was going to.
I agree. But I think that's just I think they do that
TV.
just to make people, think other things.
I like Vanessa more than I like Raven. That's nothing against Raven. I try to put myself in the shoes if I were said Bachelor, be like, which woman do I think would I personally would want to have a future with, kind of thing. And I've always felt throughout the year that I've connected more with Vanessa than I have with Rachel or with even Raven as well too. And it's just personalities. I mean, Nick seems to have great connections with everybody, obviously so far. I mean, people were mad that Christina got sent home and Corinne was kept away too long and all that fun stuff. But I would like Vanessa to win. I don't know if she will win. I feel like she fits the mantra of what being a Bachelor significant other means.
Yeah.
I feel like Raven doesn't flow with that as much. Maybe that's the small town girl in her, but I think it would be kind of cute if she won, of course, as well, too. But I think Raven's a little too out there as well, too, at times.
Yeah.
With some of the things that she says. It's
That's
like,
a very good point. I
Raven,
agree with
like,
that. Yeah.
Calm it down. Put the brakes on.
But it keeps it interesting. I mean,
People like
good
that
for
stuff,
her
though.
for, being so out there about it. I feel like that's definitely not some of the things she says. I definitely would not let the nation know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be as outgoing about that stuff as she was, but I
Agreed.
mean, hey, that's just who she is, and
Yeah, exactly. You're
keeps the
absolutely
show
right about
interesting.
that.
I mean, everyone was like, "Oh my goodness."
I'm all for that. Yeah, exactly. David here on Facebook says, he's like, am I late? Has anybody made the That's So Raven joke yet? No, nobody has made the That's So Raven joke
Love
yet,
that show.
David. He also says we need to get the Vegas odds on our predictions of how long the Vegas teams will stay. I think that is contradictory. Like, get the Vegas odds on the Vegas teams doing things in Vegas. Like, of course they're going to say, well, of course the line is that they're going to be here for the next 100 years. Vegas, I feel like it would skew their own results, honestly. Maybe that's just my personal opinion. Anyway, all right. Final thoughts? You're not here tomorrow. Which
I'm
is
not.
sad. I'm going to try not to cry too badly.
Oh,
I get sad when you're not here. I enjoy when
I know.
you're
Me
here.
too. Me too. Life gets in the way.
It does, unfortunately. All right. Well, we're not going to see you till Thursday, so anything else you want to throw at us before we see you on Thursday? Any hot takes? You'd be like, hey, I'm not going to be here tomorrow, so I'm going to double down really fast and be like, boom, boom. Check it out. Any bold predictions? Anything just wild you want to say? I don't know.
I don't think so.
No?
Thanks for asking.
No, absolutely. I don't know. I'm just trying to give you an
Good luck
opportunity.
tomorrow.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I think Ryan Thies is going to fill in for you tomorrow.
Awesome.
So
He
hopefully Ryan and I can do it justice to your absence,
You will.
honestly. So we'll do our very best. Special thanks to Dom Garrett for joining us on the program today. If you missed anything, go back and watch it here live on Facebook or on demand, of course. You can go to our website, brewsportsnet.com. Check out all the shows. We've got the three daily shows, Morning Brew, Halftime, and then, of course, Happy Hour as well, too, and then all the great once-a-week content that we offer as well. Check us out on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, @BrewSportsNet. You can follow Tika at Teeks_7, at Baxter Coleman. It's just fun to say. And then, of course, #BrewSports as well, too, to interact with everything that we do here at Brew Sports. No more programming the rest of the day. We'll be back bigger and better than ever tomorrow morning for the Morning Brew. Myself and Jamie Evers coming at you for a hump day on Wednesday. She's Tika Griesbach. I am Baxter Colburn. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you guys again on Brew Sports tomorrow morning. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, everybody.